Less than half. That is the amount of Americans that use a budget to manage their money. 41% to be exact, according to a US bank study. So with a deficit in the United States of $1 trillion, why wouldn't more Americans find it apparent that they need to use a budget in order to manage their money? I say it's because people think it's too hard. So what if I could show you a way to effortlessly manage your money? Would you try it? By using programs like Microsoft Excel and spreadsheet software that's available for free online or other places, you can actually create a budget in minutes and be able to see exactly where you are at any given point in time, in your month, in your day, in your year. So first, what I want to show you in this particular video is going to be how to format your budget. I mean, what's the point of having a budget if it doesn't look good, if it's not visually appealing? Next, I'm going to show you some of the key formulas within spreadsheet software that's going to automate that math for you. So no more calculators, no more pens, no more pencils. And then finally, we're going to put it all together, and we're going to see a cohesive budget that considers your deposits, your expenses, and how you fare against your goals. So let's get started. So contrary to popular belief, when you are working on a spreadsheet, knowing what the final product looks like is actually a really important part. And there's a couple reasons for that. One, the main reason is many times you're going to be using formulas in order to determine where things go, and you're not necessarily going to be using the numbers directly in the formulas. You're actually going to be using the cells that the formulas are in. So for example, when we look at this particular mock budget that I had already created, we can see that things are formatted really succinctly. You have your date column, your description column, your amount column, but more importantly, all that is under the deposits heading. So you know what these items are and where they should go. Next, you have the expenses heading, and underneath there you have due date, description, amount budgeted, and then over and under budget percentage. So some of these items are going to be calculated automatically for us. Some of them, and actually most of them, are going to be inputs. But one of the things I want to call your attention to is, as you're looking at this, notice the color. So this is actually one of the really nice things about Excel, is that all of this is completely customizable. If I wanted to make this particular cell fuchsia, I could. Okay. If I want to change the font color, I could. Obviously, that wouldn't be very visually appealing. If I wanted to make this italicized, I could. So just like you're inside of a Word document, you have the complete functionality of doing any kind of formatting that you want. So let's go back. Let's push this back to some normal colors here, if it wants to. Nope, we're gonna stick with fuchsia. Anyway, so the reason why, again, why this is important is because one, it makes it visually appealing for you, and then two, it allows you to know exactly where you're supposed to be putting each of these items. All of these columns are movable, so you can expand how big they are, you can make them smaller. Another key part too is underneath the format area, you have the ability to choose whether or not the number is a date, currency, a number in general, plain text, or otherwise. So again, that's important too, because if this was listed, if I go into here, if this was listed as a number instead of a date, look how it shows up, right? So just by going to format and changing that to a date, now we have the right type of output. So again, feel free to explore, use the formatting aspects of Excel to your advantage. It's really, really, really important that you understand, you have a vision for what you want your budget to look like first, so then you know how to use the formulas effectively. So using spreadsheet software, there's a few simplistic formulas that you really need to understand baseline. The first one is a simple equals x, right? So it's just equals x plus y, and then you hit enter to get your result. So in this case, the x in our formula is number 1, so equals cell C6, C, row 6, plus cell C7, enter. So Excel will automatically go ahead and add those together for you and tell you that it's $6,000. Right? You can also do cell C6 divided by cell C8, enter, and you know it's $5.45. Right? So a couple different things you can do there, and then obviously you can also multiply it times, and that is a lot more money. So that's the baseline formulas of one of the baseline formulas of Excel. Equals the first cell, plus, times, divide, the second cell, enter, and it gives you a result. Another important formula to use when we're doing a budget, however, is called our sum formula. And that's actually shown right down here in our totals column. So see how this very nicely totals up 3,000, 3,000, and 550. Well, why is that? Well, let's take a look here in the function line. We have a formula that says equals sum of C6 through C29. And so what that's essentially telling the spreadsheet is any number between C6 and C29, which just so happens to be this very last cell that's highlighted, you want to add it together. And so that's exactly what it did. It put our total deposits right here is 6,550. So let's try doing this exact same thing, but we're going to be doing it with the expenses in this column. So we have equals, and actually some software like this one I'm using right now in Google Docs will start creating the formula for you, so it makes it really, really easy to get it right. And we're just going to highlight everything in this row because we never know. There might be more things we add later. So why not have it all inclusive? And then boom, just the enter button. So this one essentially says everything between H6 and H29, I want you to add it up. And then we're going to do one final equation, kind of looking back on our last one. We're going to do equals our total deposits minus our total expenses is going to give us what we have remaining for the month. So in this case, this person who has this budget is obviously already graduated from school and is making good money. So they have a total surplus at the end of the month of $2,963. And they didn't have to have a calculator in order to figure that out. Very, very important. So that when we look over in the expense column, we see even more of this in use, right? So we have your total amount budgeted, you have your actual used, and then we have this really nice over-under percentile that it gives us. And so this is relatively simple. If you look at this, it says equals H6, which is this number, divided by the amount budgeted, which is that number. And so because we used 100% and we paid 100% on our car payment, it comes out to 100%. However, when we look at electric, we budgeted for 150 for electric, but our electric bill actually only ended up being 142, so we only used 94%. And so depending on the category, being over or being under budget is obviously going to be more important. As we go down to our mortgage, again, we're back at 100%, but now we're on to entertainment. So obviously 333 is more than what we budgeted for 200, but I really don't want to try to remember what that equation was. So here's a really easy way. I can go edit, copy, and it's copying that formula in that cell. I click down here and I do edit, paste, and boom. It automatically shifts the cells one down for me and copies the formula so that it tells me what my over under budget is. So in this case, I'm over by 66% on my entertainment budget. So let's try this for the rest of them. Let's do copy, and now instead of just doing one, let's drag it down to the bottom. Paste. There we go. So it actually filled out the rest of them for us, each one depended upon their own cells, so it knows to shift one down because where we pasted it was one down. So again, very important formulas here. The reason why this is a percent goes back to our formatting guidelines here, where I had listed it as a percent. So you don't have to figure out what percentage that is. You're just going to list that the output in that cell is percent, and therefore it'll be a percent for you. So that is the sum formula, and also the number one plus number two formula, which is two of the most simplistic formulas that you'll need in order to be able to budget effectively and create a spreadsheet. So now you have the tools. From a beginner's perspective, you should understand how to create a budget, create and format a budget, utilize formulas, and know how to display the information in an informative way. Armed with all this information, it puts you in control of your monthly finances now. And having a good plan and insight into where you stand financially will absolutely reap large rewards for you in the future. In fact, Benjamin Franklin put it eloquently when he said, "Those who fail to plan to fail." Thank you.